Hey you guys, it's Peter, and welcome to my channel, Peterisms, where I tell stories of my life and just little things that I have learned as I have grown into the person that I am today. And I just got back from doing a video where I walked down to the pool. The pool is officially open, and I showed the pool, I stepped into the pool, and I'm gonna go back up to the pool when I get done filming some videos with my husband. And I'm very, very excited that the pool is open. The pool is open. I moved all of my sweaters down to the basement and all my shorts and swimsuits up to the closet. I am summer ready. I am very, very excited that summer is here and the warm weather is out. Now, as you can see, I don't know with the lighting on the camera, the sun is coming and going. It looked like it was going to thunderstorm about 20 minutes ago, and now the sun is coming out. But in the distance, it's very, very dark and looks like it's going to rain. My husband is upstairs taking a nap with little Boo Radley. So I thought that I would film some videos. So I thought, why not start the summer off? Now I know it's not the 1st of June and it's not June 21st, which is the summer solstice and all that kind of stuff. But you know, the pool is open and school's out for the summer and the patio is ready. So why not the front porch? I always call it like the deck, the front porch, the patio. The front porch is open. So why not get into summer with a few meditations? Okay, so I brought Melody Beatty out with me today. Haven't looked at them, so I have no idea what they say. I actually saved some little quotes that I had seen on Instagram, and I was going to read these quotes. And then when I read them back, I was like, did I copy these to save them for myself or to read them on a video? But I thought that this one was interesting. I love this one. It said, "Don't leave anything for later. Later, the coffee gets cold. Later, you lose interest. Later, the day turns into night. Later, people grow up. Later, people grow old. Later, life goes by. Later, you regret not doing something and you had the chance." Oh, now I remember why I saved this one. Because it reminded me of something that my mom said, and I love that part. At the very end, hold on, I just like went out of this. Let me pull it back up really quick. I love the part at the very end where it said, quotes for me that have kind of like some kind of way to remember them, where it says, you know, later the coffee gets cold. That will be how I will remember this quote every day going forward. But then it says, later you regret not doing something. And I thought about that in regards to my own life, and I thought about it in regards to something that my mother said before she passed away, and I've talked about this on other videos that I've done on my vlog channel and over here. Before my mom went into a coma, before she passed away, I was able to have kind of a last conversation with her where we just talked about everything, and I asked her a lot of questions, you know, and she said to me in that conversation, she said, you know, towards the end of your life when you're looking back, it's not the things that you did that you regret, it's the things you never tried. It's the things you never did that you regret, right? That you wish you had done this or you wish you had done that. And, you know, it's interesting because at that time that I heard it, I thought she meant kind of like bucket list kind of things, right? But my mom was not really a bucket list kind of person, and in all honesty, I'm not really a bucket list kind of person. You know, I have some things I'd like to do, but in all honesty, if I lived out the remainder of my life with the pool opening every summer and getting my front porch ready and taking naps with my husband and Boo and watching shows at night and making videos every day for you guys, like that would be a perfect life. I don't need to go, you know, and see the pyramids. I don't need to, you know what I mean? Like there's no like, I mean, I would love to do those things or, you know, go to an island in the Caribbean, but like I've done so much in my life and I feel so grateful for everything that I have. I think my mom, in retrospect, what she meant was in interacting with people, you know? And I think, especially in the last year of some things I've gone through and my perspective and my attitude has changed, you know, that, I think my mom wished she would have stood up for herself a little bit more in life. I think my mom would have wished that she had set stronger boundaries with people and she wouldn't have let people in her life talk to her a certain way or say certain things to her, right? My mom used to talk a lot about people of the lie, people that treat you one way and act one way to your face and act a different way behind your face, you know? And she would say, never trust people of the lie. It's like a book based on, Scott Peck wrote the book, and he was the one that wrote the Road Less Traveled, not the poem. He wrote the book, the self-help book about it, and she loved his books. And I can remember my mom talking about that, and she'd say, you know, I feel like my whole life I've been surrounded by people, you know, other than, you know, family, like my sister or her aunt, my aunt, you know, or like your dad and things like that, and you and some a few friends. She'd say, I feel like every day I'm surrounded by people that don't really have my best interest in mind and don't really care. They don't really love me for me. It's really, what can I do for them? What do they need me for, right? And she felt like that a lot with people. And I think my mom wished towards the end of her life that my mom was somebody that was a fighter. She fought for rights. Her entire life, she fought for what she believed was the right thing, no matter in what situation that was. But the one person she rarely fought for was herself. She allowed things to, be said to her and done to her that I think she thought was inexcusable later in her life. And she said some of those things to me and said, like, this was never right that this person treated me this way or talked to me this way and whatever. And it's interesting because I had a friend of mine, I've shared this before too, that said when, I think she was talking about like her ex-husband, and she said when my ex-husband spoke to me that way, I said I can't remember the context of what the conversation was, it's been years now, but she said, I looked at him and said, I don't know why you think it's okay. You must not think very highly of me to think it's okay to speak to me that way. Well, that's a boundary when we say that to somebody, right? When we say you're not going to speak to me that way anymore, and people say, well, where's the boundary in that? The boundary is if you continue to speak to me that way, you won't be in my life, right? If you continue to treat me this way as if I just don't matter or that I'm an option. I was talking about that with a friend of mine the other day, the idea of being an option, that, somebody that only calls you when it's convenient for them, only asks you to do something when it's convenient for them. They never go out of their way to do something for you or to call on you or to check on you and just say like, and that's why I say at the end of my vlogs, text people and say, how are you doing? I saw this other quote come up on Instagram and it said, sometimes people just checking in with a text that says, how are you doing today is enough. And sometimes it is, right? I've gotten rid of a lot of people in my life because our friendship seemed convenient for them. And I'm talking over the last 20, 25 years, right? That it was always like I'd ask them to do something and then they'd say, well, let me look at this and this and this. And I'm like, okay, well, so when it's convenient for you, our friendship is when it's convenient for you. But then when you want to call me at 3 o'clock in the morning because you're going through a breakup or you're going through a really hard time, then you need me to be there for you, but you never ask me how I'm doing, and then I don't hear from you for, weeks on end until you have a next crisis or you need a +1 to something or whatever, right? That hasn't happened in a very long time. But, my feelings got hurt, over time. And I think my mom's feelings got hurt too, She felt like she was an option to a lot of people, and by an option, what that means is that, like, friendships are like relationships. You have to work on them. You have to, like, reciprocate what you want in return, right? And if you want somebody to be a good friend, you have to be a good friend, and check on people and call on people, not just when it's convenient. And we all have stuff going on. We all have stuff going on, okay? No matter how somebody's life looks like on the outside looking in, what I have going on I know people think I don't have a lot going on, but between doctor's appointments and doing this and filming videos and doing that and I have a lot of things going on in my life, right? And a lot of other people in my life have a lot of things going on where to me it might just look like, well, they're retired and they just, whatever, and I don't hear from them. But they have a lot of things going on. There's a lot of people that they're visiting throughout the day, and, and I think that's where we kind of want to one-up on somebody. Like, well, what I'm doing is more important than what they're doing. When that's not the case. Each person's life is important to them alone, right? So don't ever be an option to somebody, and don't ever make somebody feel like an option, Fight for the friendship. Fight for it. And if somebody says to you, I feel like you don't ever call me unless it's convenient for you, take a look at that. Don't get defensive. Say, okay, well, maybe I need to take a look at that, Maybe I need to take a look at the fact that I'm getting really defensive about the fact that somebody's saying that I only reach out to them when it's convenient for me, And hopefully they'll do the same thing if you ever have to say it to somebody else. But, the idea of, like, being an option, I think, is something that really bothered my mom. And so I think back on that statement that she said a lot. It's just, like, it's so weird. I can remember her, like, sitting in the bed and we were talking and she said, it's not the things when you look back on your life at the end, it's not the things you did that you regret. It's the things you never tried or you never did. And I remember her saying that, and I wish I had asked her more about that, I can't today, obviously, but, in reading her journals and things like that, there's a lot of times that we talk about people showing up for us in our lives, right, or people standing up for us. I think sometimes we are the ones that don't show up for ourselves or stand up for ourselves, And I think we could say that that's the embodiment of confidence, but I think that I've known people that don't have a lot of confidence that are still able to stand up for themselves, or still able to show up for themselves. And I think that that's important. Showing up for yourself is not just standing up for yourself. Showing up for yourself is being proud of yourself, being proud of your achievements, being proud of your successes. When somebody says, oh, you should be really proud. No, don't do all that. Just say thank you. I appreciate it. I worked very hard on this, When somebody works very hard to make a dinner, and when you work very hard to make a dinner and you're very proud of it and you have your family over and somebody says, oh, Mom, don't say, oh, no, it's nothing. Just say Thank you, I appreciate it. I worked very hard. I wanted you guys to enjoy a nice dinner, you know? When you work very hard in your garden, or you work very hard on like crocheting or knitting, you know, a scarf or a pair of socks, like my friend Mel, or you know, a sweater or a blanket or whatever, and somebody says something, don't just dismiss it and act like it's nothing. Show up for yourself. Be proud of your moments. You know, be proud of whatever your achievements are. You got one life. This is it. You might as well be proud of yourself and show up for yourself, and stand up for yourself when somebody talks in a bad way about you. You have that right to do that, you know? So that was the one I wanted to read. I couldn't remember why I saved it at the time. Okay, let's get into the meditations, and let's read just one of these meditations today. So the language of letting go, May 25th. Let's see what it says today. Okay. Loving ourselves unconditionally. Oh, this is a long one too. This will be a good one, because this kind of goes along with what we're talking about. Love yourself into health and good life of your own. Love yourself into relationships that work for you and the other person. My book is falling apart. You guys see this? This is like a newer book too. Somebody sent this to me a couple years ago and it's already falling apart. Love yourself into peace, happiness, joy, success, and contentment. Love yourself into all that you always wanted. We can stop treating ourselves the way others treated us if they behaved in a less than healthy, desirable way. This is where I'm talking about standing up for or showing up for yourself. Don't treat yourself the same way that other people treated you. If we have learned to see ourselves critically, conditionally, and in a diminishing and punishing way, it's time to stop. Other people treated us that way, but it's even worse to treat ourselves that way now. Loving ourselves may seem foreign, even foolish at times. People may accuse us of being selfish. We don't have to believe them. People who love themselves are truly able to love others and let others love them. People who love themselves and hold themselves in high esteem are those who give the most, contribute the most, love the most. How do we love ourselves? By forcing it at first, by faking it if necessary, by acting as if, by working as hard at loving and liking ourselves as we have at not liking ourselves. Explore what it means to love yourself. Do things for yourself that reflect compassionate, nurturing self-love. And why is it so much easier for us to hate ourselves than it is for us to love ourselves? Like, this all sounds easy, just kind of like, oh, this is so stupid, right? But so many of us work so hard at hating ourselves on a daily basis, and we don't put in nearly enough effort to loving ourselves, right? And then it sounds corny, right? Embrace and love all of yourself, past, present, and future. Forgive yourself quickly and as often as necessary. That's powerful. Forgive yourself quickly and as often as necessary. Encourage yourself. Tell yourself good things about yourself. If we think and believe negative ideas, get them out in the open quickly and honestly, so we can replace those beliefs with better ones. Pat yourself on the back when necessary. Discipline yourself when necessary. Ask for help, for time. Ask for what you need. That's a lesson that took me a long time to learn. Sometimes give yourself treats. Do not treat yourself like a pack mule, always pushing and driving harder. Learn to be good to yourself. Choose behaviors with preferable consequences, treating yourself well as one. Learn to stop your pain, even when that means making difficult decisions. Do not unnecessarily deprive yourself. Sometimes give yourself what you want, just because you want it. Stop explaining and justifying yourself. When you make mistakes, let them go. We learn, we grow, and we learn some more. And through it all, we love ourselves. We work at it, then work at it some more. My nose is itching from my allergies. One day we'll wake up, look in the mirror, and find that loving ourselves has become habitual. It's changing a habit. You know, they say it's something like takes 21 days to change a habit. Loving ourselves is the same way. We're now living with a person who gives and receives love because that person loves him or herself. Self-love will take hold and become a guiding force in our life. Today, I will work at loving myself. I will work as hard at loving myself as I have at not liking myself. Help me let go of self-hate and behaviors that reflect not liking myself. Help me replace those with behaviors that reflect self-love. Today, God, help me hold myself in high self-esteem. Help me know I'm lovable and capable of giving and receiving love. That is really, really a powerful meditation. Really powerful. You know, it's interesting when you interact with people that you can tell just kind of exude self-love. And it doesn't come across as cocky, and it doesn't come across as arrogant. Actually, people that come across to me as arrogant and cocky are people that seem insecure. They don't seem like they love themselves at all, so they have to overcompensate. I think confidence is something, in all honesty, and I've thought a lot about this in life, and my opinion might change, but I think some people are just born with it and some people aren't, you know? And I think confidence is really not really so much self-love as it is more like self-assuredness of who you are and knowing who you are, and that takes a long time sometimes, right? But self-love, when you interact with somebody, I think, for me, the purest form when I see of somebody that loves themselves is when they are so giving and altruistic and loving towards others. Because to be so loving and kind and generous towards others, you must first love yourself, you know? I can remember when I got out of treatment, the coin that I had on the back of it, it said you must first be a value to yourself to be a value to others, you know? And the saying that you gotta love yourself, first you must love yourself before you can love others, it's true. So when you interact with somebody that is loving and kind and compassionate and giving, you know, and generous, they're some of the people out there that are most self-loving, you know? And I think that's amazing, right? And they give it back, you know? So anyway, good talk today. Good start to the summer. This is the summer. Oh, camera just went to the side. This is the summer of self-love. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. I love you guys, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.